Today's episode is brought to you by DB. DB is a Scandinavian brand that makes backpacks and bags to help people on the move stay ready for anything. From the streets to the peaks, DB's gear is travel tested by some of the world's best athletes, adventurers, and creators. Over the past decade, DB has designed and developed, released, and refined the best bags in the market. With DB's patented hookup system, you are able to attach smaller products to your backpack, roller, or tote.
It's important to have the right bag for your travels and adventures, and DB has you covered. From the Nair duffel to the Strom backpack, DB ensures you always have the right gear for your journey. We are teaming up with DB to exclusively offer our listeners 10% off your next purchase by using the code POD10 or going to the link in our show notes. DB, it's time to move on. Time to get going.
Ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we can all go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch Bison's ass so hard that the next Bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home, and who wants to go with me?
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 288. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/RatedG for Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan, the podcaster formerly known as Classic Robinson.
What's going on, man?
It's a somber day. For anyone living in the States, they'll know that it's Saturday right now. It's 9/11. It's the 20-year anniversary of the Twin Tower attack, or the attack on America, I guess, way back in 2001. So I guess we just wanted to say a couple of words about that because, you know, we're true New Yorkers, born and bred. We were in the thick of it when it happened. Thankfully, we weren't in Manhattan. We were in Brooklyn and, I think, Queens, respectively, at the time. Is that right?
My laziness that day probably saved my life.
There you go. There you go.
I think I've said it on like every 9/11 show, right? This is our fifth time or sixth time saying it. I had a job interview across the street. I was supposed to be there bright and early at like 8:30 9 o'clock. Supposed to be there at 9 o'clock for an interview. And, you know, you get there about 15, 20 minutes early.
Exactly. Yeah, you want to be on time, so you're early. Yeah.
I was 19, and I said I don't want to be a stockbroker. I had an interview to be a stockbroker trainee.
Best move you ever made. You know?
I said, you know what? I want to be Vin Diesel in Boiler Room.
Yeah.
Or Ben Affleck. And I said, no, you know what? I really don't. I woke up that morning and I said, I really don't want to be a stockbroker.
That's fair. Yeah. I don't know if you know Seth MacFarlane, right? The creator of Family Guy.
Yeah.
So he's told the story numerous times that he was on his way, I want to say, I guess it was from Boston to New York. I think that was one of the flights that got intercepted. Well, anyway, he ended up getting to the airport late, and he was arguing with the lady, hey, I really need to be on this flight. I gotta go. She says, you can't. We can't do anything for you. I'm sorry. And okay. And that was the flight that went down.
That was one of the flights.
One of the handful of flights that went down.
Wow.
Which is crazy. Yeah, I mean they've done like, you know, TLC, History Channel, whatever, have done survivors of 9/11, and they were all people who didn't get on the plane, and they kind of talk about their stories. And it's crazy because a lot of people have survivor guilt, right? Which is a real thing, where like you're like, oh, I feel so guilty that somebody else died because I didn't make my flight on time. You know what I'm saying? Like, because of their actions.
That final destination. That's that final destination thing.
Right.
All right. Imagine if you were, or not a stowaway, a standby, and you got on that flight because he was late.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's insane, man. It's insane. So I mean, you know, we're not trying to make light of the situation in any way, shape, or form, but it is. I mean, it's just a crazy time. Even still 20 years out, right? I mean, I can remember the post 9/11 days, post 9/11 months, the post 9/11 years. Downtown changed forever, you know, just with the amount of police presence, you know, with the amount of, you know, like Canal Street completely got changed. Financial district completely got changed. You know, it took them forever to get the new towers up and all that. That whole area completely rebuilt and changed. And
they got the Freedom Tower. They still got one more tower to. You know, I don't even know if they're going to build the second tower.
I didn't think that was in the cards. I think I thought it was just the one freestanding. No.
I mean, there are talks to do something. I mean, it's still a space there.
Right.
So they're looking. I don't know what they're going to do. I haven't really kept up with sort of the politics of it all. I mean, it took a long time for the Freedom Tower to be built.
Yeah. There was a lot of politics involved. There was a lot of players involved that were all trying to get different things done. And, you know, thankfully they got it done. They also got the memorial done, which is beautiful, by the way. It's basically like a giant hole that's a waterfall. Everything goes in, and they have a bunch of names of the people who died on that day around that. And then they also did like a walkway up to it on the going out to like the West End, and it lines up with the sun. So like the sun sets between the two pillars.
Cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, they designed that in a way, and then that has a bunch of other names on there, so you can kind of walk up and find your, you know, loved ones and whoever else, if anybody happened to die on that day, you know, or you can go up to the pool and like kind of see that there too. It's beautifully designed. Yeah, I mean I've been down there a couple times. Very nice, but you know, it's just, you know, it's a solemn day, solemn way to start off the show. We don't want to bring everybody down, but you know, just kind of wanted to say a few words on that.
All right, well, I mean, there is no really good way to transition to that, but let's just jump into the show. We have an awesome show this week, all right? We're going to talk all about the PlayStation Showcase, and boy, was it amazing, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, let's not mince words. Me and Dan, both, 10 out of 10, all right?
Yeah. I give it a 9.5. I give it a Psychonauts 2. 9.5.
Wow, this guy.
Okay.
I'll give it a straight 10. I thought it was great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Had everything I wanted and more. Surprises, even with the leaks. We'll get into that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all I got to say is if you're looking at this on video, just look at my mug. It will give you a little tease of what you know, they had at the PlayStation conference.
Oh yeah, there's a Martian Manhunter game coming out.
No, no DC talk. Get out of here. We don't talk DC here. Marvel all the way, baby.
Mostly, right? Mostly.
But before we get into any of that, let's begin the show with The Matrix 4. We finally got an official trailer. I really wanted to talk about this with you. It looks awesome, right? It's like a nod to the first Matrix.
There's a lot of that in this trailer. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, listen, Keanu Reeves looks a little, you know, he's older, right?
He's got that John Wick look going on.
He definitely has that John Wick with the beard, and you know, they didn't CGI it out, right? Like Superman, right? Talking about DC, they kept the beard and they kept the goatee.
If you remember, they were filming both movies at the same time.
Well,
And
if you remember, both movies were supposed to be released at the same time.
that's right. That's right. So the reason he looks like John Wick is because he was filming John Wick.
Playing John Wick.
Yeah. So they had to. You're right. They didn't want to do a Superman situation where they CG on the mustache or CG off the mustache, and it looked terrible.
So basically, he's like having dreams of he's in the Matrix, and he's having dreams of, basically what happened in the Matrix 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he does it, and he's seeing a psychiatrist of some sort, and he keeps taking blue pills. Like
Neil Patrick Harris, Doogie Howser.
They keep prescribing him blue pills, I'm assuming, right? Because he has the pill bottle, all the blue pills he takes.
Yep.
So they have a young, or looks like a young Morpheus in the movie.
Right.
Now, they did say it is canon to the original story, which had a game, a PC game only. Right?
Oh, Matrix Online. Yeah.
Matrix Online. And in that game, Morpheus was killed. They were looking for the body of Neo, and he was killed. So it would be, if you look at the Matrix 2, when he was with the architect, and the architect said, you can go back into the Matrix and we start all over again. We do this, keep going around in circles, doing it over again. You keep, you save Zion by coming back into the Matrix. This could be the young Morpheus, right?
Oh, interesting. Because I had heard that Lawrence Fishburne didn't want to reprise his role.
No, he said officially he wasn't invited back. So it wasn't that he didn't. It's not that he turned him down. He wasn't invited back.
So it all kind of plays into the continuity and the story of the. Wow, that's crazy. All right. I'm a little bit more hyped because of that knowledge. I'll be honest. So I think that's kind of cool.
Spoilers for Matrix 3. If you haven't seen it, it's been like 15 years.
It's been 99, so 22 years?
No. The Matrix 3, we were still at Circuit City.
Matrix 3 was 2003? I think it was 2003.
Really? I don't think so.
Yeah. Because they were filmed back to back.
Couldn't have been.
I will bet you money. It came out.
It couldn't have been 2003. The Matrix 3?
Yeah.
No way. I think. Oh,
maybe 2004.
Yeah, no way. It couldn't have been.
Matrix Revolutions 2003. See, I know Dan is I know Dan is unsure when he won't make a bet.
No, I'm not making a bet.
You didn't, yeah, because you were unsure. November 5th, 2003. Mm-hmm.
Wow, I remember. As a side note, I remember giving the security guard at the movie theater my Circuit City discount so I could see movies for free. I just started at Circuit City, so I don't even. That's why I was like, it could have been 2003. I just started at Circuit City in September of 2003.
Sure. Well, there you go.
Wow. Look at me hustling and bustling when I just got the job, giving the discounts.
Good on you.
Okay. I figured it would be 2004, 2005 when I'm like seasoned sales guy and I was giving discounts, but I guess not.
You were emboldened back in the day.
Yeah.
Delaney must have not known that you were giving out the deep discounts.
Delaney wasn't there yet.
Oh, wow.
A little behind the scenes, if you worked at Circuit City, nobody else knows who Delaney is. Delaney wasn't there. Delaney didn't get there until like 2004.
Okay. Rich was there, right, or no?
Well, Rich was the store manager.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's right.
A little behind the scenes at Circuit City.
I know.
No. So wow. Like, if you don't remember, spoilers, if you haven't seen it, it's been 17, 18 years since this movie came out. Neo and Trinity, their bodies are in a machine city, right? And presumably they end with them being, deceased. They're dead. But maybe the Matrix, right, jacked them into the Matrix and, is trying to heal the body. There is a snippet, like a quarter of a second snippet. I took a screenshot and sent it to you. That looks like Trinity's body, right, being held up by something. She has this glowing stuff on her. So that could be the Matrix trying to heal her body and keeping her alive in the Matrix, right?
Yeah. Okay. I remember you sending me that snip. Yeah. And it looks like the beginning of the first one, right? When like Neo is in the goo or the whatever, right? He gets woken up and he's in that pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very similar. And somewhere in the media too is those giant like squid type mechanical things, right? Robots or whatever. There was like a bunch of those like lying dormant, I think. like sitting around.
Whoa, yeah. Well, but that's like not in the Matrix. That's like in the Machine City. That's like in the real world. Yeah. So I am super hyped. It's coming out Christmas. I think this may be either this or James Bond. My first actual movie I'll see in a movie theater since like 2019.
Oh my god. You want to know the last movie I saw in the movie theater?
What was it?
Think about it. It was, and I'll tell you, it was right before the pandemic.
Avenger. Oh, then I don't know. I don't remember.
No?
I don't remember.
Sonic. I saw the Sonic movie.
Oh wow, yeah, that's right.
That was the last one, right? Because then we went to PAX.
I saw Sonic. I don't think I saw Sonic. I got to listen to one of our past shows. I don't think I've seen Sonic in the movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw Sonic like on TV.
Yeah.
I feel like the Matrix. I mean, not the Matrix. The Avengers Endgame. I feel like that was like the last movie I saw because that came out May of like 2019.
19?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was like that was one of the last like big movies to come out before the zombie apocalypse came upon us.
So I'm looking forward. It's coming out Christmas. I can't wait for the second trailer. Give us a little bit more Easter eggs.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
But it's either this or James Bond. I'm a big James Bond fan. It's either one of these two is going to get me back into the movies.
Did you see? Because they did like the teaser trailer a couple days before. Did you get to watch that? The little teaser they had
for the Matrix? No, I didn't see that.
So, like, if you went to the website, you could watch the red or the blue pill trailer. Right? Each one you clicked on was slightly different, but they managed to get whatever the time on your computer or phone or whatever was, that would appear in the trailer.
Oh wow, I didn't know.
So they managed to like pull that in and somehow do it on the fly, which is wild. So you see like the text come up and it's like, right now it's 12:29 p.m. and you're like, what the fuck?
No, I didn't. Oh wow, I missed that. I totally missed that.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I have some ideas of how they possibly could have done it. But I mean, it's obviously got to have some functionality behind the scenes to kind of render that scene. Maybe they had like 2 video clips back to back, and then the thing in the middle is like, it can be random in a way. It kind of does it on the fly. I don't know, but I was impressed. It felt very Matrixy. Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what makes me feel like I'm in a Matrix?
What's that?
Whenever I'm looking at the news and they mentioned the Atari Jaguar.
Like just a couple of years earlier from the first movie, the Atari Jaguar.
No, this was like, wait, the Jaguar was like what, 92, 93? Right? Like,
sure, the first movie was 99, so
yeah,
a couple of years.
So there was an unreleased Atari Jaguar game that got a surprise ESRB rating. And this game was unfinished. It was an FMV game, full motion video, right? It was called American Hero.
Nice. I love the name.
So I can't think. I mean, I just watched this. I put it up because we sort of talked about it before we started recording. I don't have the name of the actors in it, but they are known actors. They're not like they're not. I want to say B actors, right? Because one of the guys was on Matlock. Like I love Matlock.
Sure.
A little inside baseball. I'm a huge Matlock fan. Okay, I will debate anybody. I will debate anybody, Matlock over Perry Mason. I debate my mom every day. I watch Matlock. Okay?
Wow, okay.
She likes to tell me that Perry Mason is better.
Perry Mason is, Perry Mason is classic. But, I don't know.
Yes. I'm mad that Matlock only, the ABC, because it started on NBC, went to ABC.
Right.
Didn't get a 10th season, okay? Had 9 seasons. Should have got a 10th season. Should have got a home movie, like a
like a
Hallmark
made-for-TV
movie.
thing, yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. I
put that out there.
Yeah. I did see Fairuza Balk, who is in The Craft, I believe, and other movies. I don't want to call her a character actor, but she's definitely been in movies. You've definitely seen her before. I was like, she's definitely of that time, right? And then all the guys from Matlock and whatnot, like, it's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, it is a sufficiently FMV trailer. There are there's lingerie, there's violence,
Daniel
there's action.
Roebuck. Daniel Roebuck.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
Funny enough, Daniel Roebuck was supposed to be in Home Alone. He actually was in Home Alone, and they shot some scenes for Home Alone. And I believe they shot scenes for Home Alone, and the studio said, no, he just doesn't go well with Joe Pesci.
Oh, he was gonna be the other one of the Wet Bandits.
Yes.
Oh, he was gonna be Marv. Wow. Okay. Interesting. I thought he was gonna play the father.
And they changed and they called Daniel Stern back and got him on to go beside Joe Pesci.
He's incredible. They had so much chemistry together.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So yes, he is in this game, full motion video game. So it's coming out to PC and console, but we don't know what consoles, right? Come on, you want to put money? Talk about I never bet. I'll put money down that Limited Run is gonna have something to do with putting it out on consoles, either on the Switch or the PlayStation.
Oh,
right?
I would go a step further and say they will do a Jaguar release.
I would buy it. I would buy it.
Of course, because they've done
it for the Jaguar. I only have 8 games I only have maybe 6 or 7, 8, maybe 8 games for the Jaguar. I need another game for the Jaguar. And the Jaguar didn't have that many FMV games.
Well, it was a cartridge-based system, so it didn't really lend itself to video. So, because the amount of memory is at a premium, where CDs are, at the time, they were 650 megabytes, and they were all 650 megabytes, right? It's just how you compress the stuff on the disc, and the discs were super cheap, so you could do that, and you had, at the time, unlimited space, right? You could do whatever and put on however many CDs it needs to be. I would love to see this on the Jaguar, and how they get the video and how it ends up looking on there.
I would definitely buy this game.
Yeah, man. I mean, it looks crazy. You got to watch the trailer for American Hero. It's up on YouTube, I think.
It is on YouTube, right? A lot of sites can't really show it because it has a lot of sex, violence, and
it's a little risque. There's definitely some lingerie kicking around. Yeah.
So you got to watch it on YouTube. It goes against the game rants and IGN's policy, right? The website policy. Right. So you have to actually watch it on YouTube.
It's not even that scandalous, to be fair. I mean, it's as scandalous as a Grand Theft Auto trailer, to be honest. But I don't know.
That's true. But Grand Theft Auto technically is just it's a cartoon, right? Because it's a video game.
I mean, it's animated, sure. I guess that makes a difference. Yeah, I guess that.
Yeah, where this is real life, real people.
I mean, yes, real life with soap opera acting.
There you go. I want to transition into GameStop real quick, right?
Oh, sure.
Just so you know, GameStop actually 25% increase in sales in Q2 in 2021. Right. So I don't know what the increase in sales comes from. I mean, maybe I equate for 10% of that because I did a lot of shopping.
There you go.
PS3.
There you go.
Getting PS3 and 360 games. Which, you can hear all about it on a Saturday morning retro show we post the last Saturday of every month.
Oh yeah,
plug right there.
Yeah. I bet a lot of it is due to Dan Robinson, of course. I think a lot of it is next gen accessory sales.
That's true. I can see that too.
Because everyone needs a second controller, so that's a guarantee. Maybe they'll buy a stand or the headphones or the whatever else. There's a ton of PlayStation accessories.
Like the Loft amiibos are in full stock in all GameStops, right? PS5 accessories like the cradle, the charging cradle for the DualSense, right now are coming back in stock. They're starting to come out, which is a good sign that things that were out of stock for a year are coming back.
I know.
Right? But GameStop actually wants to be more of a general electronics company than just exclusive gaming company. So they want to sell more computer parts. They want to be more of a CompUSA and GameStop all in one. And if they do that transition, to be honest, I think they'll change the name from GameStop to something else, right?
Right. I could see that. Do kind of a rebranding and whatnot. It's a smart move because they banked heavily on pre-owned, right? used game sales,
which
and
was
all
a
that.
good move in the 2000s. But you know, the writing was on the wall that digital was going to be dominant and take over eventually.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, they could only
didn't have a
last
plan
for
for
so
that.
long, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and then the other thing was partnering up with ThinkGeek was initially a good idea, but my God. And it's the same thing that happened to Loot Crate and whatever else. And, you know, you can see it on my shelf back there, and you can see it on Dan's shelf back there. There's only so much room for stuff.
I want to know when they're gonna implement this partnership with Microsoft, right? Because they were supposed to be more like the Apple Store, where they'll have like tablets, the Surface Pro tablets. They can go around and keep inventory and just ring you up anywhere, right? They don't have to be behind the register, and they're still using this old archaic system.
Well, I mean, it takes time, you know. You know, so they must have like preliminarily planned it out, signed the agreements.
We talked about this like last year, like during the pandemic.
It's not that easy to like transition your whole store system over, you know, because I'll tell you this: when I was still working at a electronics boutique, and most of the stores and retail places that me and you worked at still use like daisy wheel printers, right? Old like dot matrix printers. They have ancient technology because they buy into it and they want to use it for as long as possible. So now they have some ancient technology. You know, their systems possibly could be running Windows XP, maybe like Windows 7. So, you know, there's that stuff you got to contend with. You're going to use these new Surface laptops. Got to find a way to integrate it all together. Make sure your system is up to stuff. You know.
All right. Well, you know what?
They got some work to do.
They got a lot of work to do. They got a lot of work to do. And you know why? Because I have a game of grief. With GameStop.
Oh, lay it down, Dan.
I have a huge game of grief with GameStop. Okay? So I bought Guilty Gear Strive for the PS5.
Nice.
And as a side note, I don't mind having 16 characters, okay? Because it's a beautiful game. It's a great looking fighting game.
It is a beautiful game. It sounds great. It plays great.
You can't play it like Street Fighter, so I enjoy only having 16 characters to sort of master. It was a little overwhelming when it was like 35 characters. So I like the simplicity.
They should have somewhere in between, because there's a lot of characters who are not in this game who are staples of the series.
And you know what? When they come out with Guilty Gear Strive 2, I will appreciate it more.
The previous, to be fair, the previous version, Guilty Gear Xrd, Sign, or Revelator, or whatever version it was, had more characters in there. So they took a downgrade.
The previous version, so they
took a downgrade.
They took it down to simplify it, and you know what? I kind of enjoy it.
I mean, there's there is kind of something to be said about it, you know. But
back to the story. Story. I bought Guilty Gear Strive from GameStop. It was only one in stock, and obviously it was the one that they had on the shelf. It's still new, right? They opened it up, took the insert, took the CD, put it, you know, in a sleeve, never to be used, never to be seen until someone buys the display copy, which is supposed to be brand new. It's just not sort of, you know, sealed.
Yeah, it's not you know, H-seam sealed or whatever it is from the factory. Yeah.
So I took it, no problem. Not the first time, not the last time. I got it, no issue. Played it, and something told me, you said, you know, they have the insert is a code for cosmetics.
Yep. There's a couple of outfits for Soul and Key, I think. Yeah.
Yes, I said, you know what? Let me redeem it now because I'll forget later. Let me just redeem it. Maybe I'll see what it's about. And the code is already used.
This guy. Wow. This guy meaning GameStop. This guy. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
The code was already used.
So they lied to you. Somebody probably took it home. One of the employees probably took it home to play it on their like whatever, and then brought it back to the store and then sealed it up and said, "No one's gonna know. No one's gonna know."
And you know what? You know what? I didn't take it back because I wanted the game. The game I don't think has a large print. Right, there's not a lot of the copies out there.
No, I've been saying it's very hard to get. Yeah, and I think they maybe have delisted it.
And it's not delisted. You can buy it digital. You can still get it digital on the PlayStation.
Well, the physical may be delisted.
But the physical is in low supply. So I didn't take it back. And it's only cosmetics. So I didn't make a big deal out of it because of that. But if it would have been an extra character or an extra couple of characters or a stage, something of significance to like playing the game, I would have made a big stink about this. I mean, this is... I essentially have, in my eyes, a used game that I paid brand new money for.
I would still take it back and have them ship you out a new one or figure out a way to get you another copy. No, that ain't cool. I wouldn't stand for that.
I left it alone. But you know what, GameStop, this isn't cool. This isn't cool. Not cool.
So mine was the same way. Mine was the last copy, and I'm curious if my codes work. I haven't actually had a chance to check. I meant to check before the show. There's a very good possibility that my codes also don't work. So I'm going to check that after this.
50-50 chance. 50-50
right?
chance.
Right.
So, Dave, as we always try to start the show, but epically fail, what have you been playing?
Well, besides Guilty Gear Strive,
yes.
I have been playing Returnal. That game is fantastic. I beat Progress update. I beat Freaky or whatever, whatever the first boss is. I beat that. So happy. I now have the key that allows me to jump to the second area, which is awesome because it's this big desert land, which is completely different than the first biome. So I'm super hyped. Got a bunch of new unlocks.
So it took you a while to beat the first boss?
Yes.
Okay.
And I am not ashamed to say that. I kept trying. Now, to be fair, some of those deaths were me pressing my luck, because there are certain chests and whatever else that are kind of like a chance, like they're like inflicted with this what they call malignancy, right? So it has this stuff around it, right? I don't know exactly what it is. Some like sort of material or element or whatever that's hazardous to you, or could be hazardous to you, right? So you'll like come up to a chest and it'll go, it's inflicted with malignancy. You have a moderate chance to get a malignant feature or whatever. Some things are like high or very high, and you can, if you have enough ether, you can cleanse it, and then it becomes clean, and you can get whatever comes out of it, or you can roll the dice and take a chance, right? There's also like bonus rooms, extra challenge areas that you can or cannot go into. You can try and avenge other players' deaths, right? You'll like come across the dead body of you or somebody else who's playing, and you can fight the beast that killed them, which is always like a super hard beast.
Yeah,
so
I'm doing that.
That's all like optional stuff, right? That you don't necessarily have to do. So you can go right to the boss if you want to try and fight the boss right away if you come across the boss door, or you can try and get better stuff to make the boss fight easier, which is the one of the parts of the game that I love, because it's you have the control, like it's random, but you can say whether you want to press your luck or not.
I knew you would love this game. I knew
it's good, man.
Nominate this game for Game of the Year. I nominated for half Game of the Year just because I knew you would put it at the top of your list.
Listen, it's beautiful. It's it's so good. It plays great. It's tight, and the story is bananas, man. I got a little more of the story that unlocked because I end up beating the boss and going through the game a couple times. They kind of drip feed you some story bits. It is wild. And also I've been playing Civ 6 again. I found my install on my computer. Was playing that for a little bit, and I'm dominating with the Egyptians. I know you're very curious to know, but I am killing it right now with the Egyptians. I'm in the medieval era, taking over the world, baby.
All right.
But anyway, what have you been playing, Dan?
I'm almost done with Bloodstained: Curse of the Moon 2.
Oh, shoot.
Switch.
I just got my copy of that. Just got my copy in the mail.
Yeah, I'm at stage 8, which is the last stage. You have to sort of traverse and sort of, go up the castle, right? While like all these killer bees or whatever they're called, like, are coming after you.
Oh, shit.
So it's a little bit of pain in the ass, right? Because they have all these little enemies here that are getting in your way as you try to go up the ladder to go up the staircase to go up the castle. But I'm pretty much like 10 minutes, right? I looked at a walkthrough and it's like I have 10 minutes if I can, get this right. So
Nice.
I'm almost done with that. But what I didn't tell you before we started recording, last night, drinking. I did go out drinking last night.
Sure.
So you know what that means.
As you do.
You know what that means. That means I impulse
You impulse bought some stuff on eBay. Oh boy.
I did on eBay, but I did on GameStop. So I had a game agree for GameStop, but I gotta give credit where credit's due. When I bought the bundles for the PS5 and Xbox Series X, I had those $20 gift cards I had to use, right? And I said, let me use them because the further, the more time that goes by, I'm gonna keep forgetting them, right? So I ended up using them, and I bought Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Right,
nice.
It was on sale for $39.
Nice.
I only paid $19 plus tax and shipping because I got it the next day. GameStop uses DoorDash, so I got it like this morning. And I spent $20 and I got Life is Strange Colors, Life is Strange 3.
Wait, GameStop uses DoorDash?
They do. They use DoorDash for their next day delivery.
Interesting. Okay.
So I've been playing Mass Effect 1. The story is pretty good. I'm getting into it. I am officially I'm about 2 hours in, and I'm like officially a part of, like, I totally forgot what it's called. I just played it and I couldn't wait to talk about it. And the name of, I'm I'm an official member of, like, the console, right? So I have the powers now to go after the traitor. So so I'm really early on in Mass Effect 1. I thought it was a little boring at first, but you know what? I'm getting into the story.
It takes a little bit to get you into it, right? There's a lot of dialogue up front.
Yeah.
And you got to go through all that. Yeah.
So I'm about 20 minutes into Life is Strange Colors, right? That's what I was playing right before we started recording. So I can't really tell you. I got it for the PS5 because apparently I wanted to get it for the Xbox just because, I have like 20 PS5 games and like 10 Xbox Series X games. So I wanted to get it for the Xbox, but they only had a digital version for the Xbox, right? I don't think a physical is out, at least on GameStop.com. It's not. They don't have a physical. So I got it for the PS5. Sorry if you don't own a Switch. If you only own a Switch, the Switch version has been delayed. I think until like next month or so, a couple of months. So hopefully I'll get some time in. I'll get some more time in with Mass Effect and, sort of Life is Strange True Colors. Hopefully it's good, and I'll let you know. Looking forward to that. But the game that I'm really looking forward to playing is Bayonetta 3. Oh my god, what's up with this
Bayonetta 3? That game's still coming out?
Yeah. You know what? Platinum just sort of issued a statement and said, they wish they can give us an update, but Bayonetta is apparently owned by Nintendo now, right? So Nintendo, honestly, as a side note, Nintendo should just buy Platinum Games. Right, like they have Astro Chain. They own the IP for all the major IP for Platinum Games. They should just buy Platinum Games.
Right, just make them a second party studio. Right, bring them in the fold.
So they said Nintendo has put put the kibosh on any updates because obviously they want to put it out in maybe like a direct or something like that, or a direct mini. I can't say a direct mini, maybe a big direct, and I think we'll hear more about it. This game is obviously not coming out in 2021. I would say 2022.
Right. Well, they don't want a Metroid Prime 4 situation,
correct,
which they have a little bit on their hands because they did tease it. Right, they had Reggie Fils-Aimé in 2018 or whatever come on the Game Awards stage, announce Bayonetta 1 and 2 for the Switch, and then say that 3 is in production, and that's the last that we heard of that. And it was like, well, all right, where is Bayonetta 3? So I am confident that this game will come out.
It was early in production. It had to be, right? Because we haven't even got a cinematic trailer for it.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not worried about any of this. It'll be done when it's done. It'll be great. I have a feeling it's going to be like amazing when it comes out, because Nintendo is going to make sure that it's amazing, right? Not going to pull it out of the oven until it's done. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, why don't we take a break and when we come back, We're going to get into the top gaming news of last week. And we're back. Let's get into the top gaming news of last week. We have to start with all the news from the PlayStation Showcase. Boy, we talked about, we speculated what they could show, but man, last week, but they did an awesome job.
Yeah?
I give it a 9.5. I give it a Psychonauts 2.
Yeah, did they show some good stuff? I don't recall. Did they have anything that was like new and exciting and things that were surprising and all that? No. They had an amazing show. This should have been their E3.
And if it was, to be fair, if it was, but where would you rank this with with Nintendo and Microsoft?
It would have been a 3-horse race. Because
really,
I was saying at least Xbox and Nintendo killed it. Sony was obviously not really in the running until way late. They had an okay show to be fair. It was all right. If this was their E3, my God, because
we didn't hear anything from Sony. We got a State of Play a month later, and State of Play, as we know, is just like a direct mini, just sort of updates on things we already know about. A showcase, which was 40 minutes long, we're gonna get new game announcements, right? It's gonna be something blockbuster, and they did not disappoint. They started the show off with Knights of the Old Republic remake, like. That's a mic drop moment in itself, right? And this was a game that was an Xbox exclusive.
Xbox and PC. Well, BioWare was owned by Microsoft at the time, so everything was on their console and PC.
Yeah. And this is a timed console exclusive. It's coming to the PS5 and the PC. We didn't get any gameplay. We didn't get any. Much of a we didn't get any cinematic trailer, really. We just got the remake is in the works. The worst kept secret is out. It's happening. And I'm looking forward to playing it, right? Because, some of the mechanics in the original game, we try to go back and play it on the original Xbox, which I do have both, 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe don't hold up to today, right? So I'm looking forward to see what this is. And they're saying this is, by all accounts, this is a soup to nuts remake from the ground up, right? Like Resident Evil 2.
Well, I wonder if they're going to keep because they had 2 modes. There was the turn-based mode where you'd kind of like stop at everything and give everybody orders and then let that play out, or you could play in real time, which was instant death because it wasn't made for that, and you would just die right away. So I wonder if they're going to even have that kind of stop turn-based like the original was, which I would argue it still holds up. It's a little bit janky in the animation and all that, but I think it still works for what it is. I don't know. I would definitely challenge that the game doesn't hold up. But
okay, well, it's still weird to say that like an Xbox exclusive, right?
Is coming to PlayStation.
It's coming to PlayStation and being a PlayStation exclusive. We don't know. It's a timed exclusive. We're going to speculate and say maybe it's like a year, 6 months to a year, right?
I would say,
it has to be something significant for it to be an exclusive. Then why would Sony pay the money if it's not like a significant amount of time, right?
Yeah. So typically a half year, I think is. We saw that with.
And we don't even know when this is coming out. Right, because we didn't see any gameplay. So this could be a game that's in 2023, 2024.
Right.
So if you have an Xbox, you may not see it to 2024, 2025.
Yeah. So. Well, I mean, I think you're right. You said it's going to be like Resident Evil 2, where it's a soup to nuts remake. Yeah. It's not just going to be a simple remaster. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this. Right. I mean, this is thousands of years before the Skywalker saga.
That's right.
Before
That's
there was
right.
a Darth Vader, before there was an Anakin Skywalker,
It's,
before there were the
it's-
prequels.
It's
So
Darth Revan and Darth Malak. Those are the two guys that play. And the turn in that game, oh my god! After,
don't know it. Don't tell me. Don't spoil it.
I'm not.
Spoil it.
Oh, this guy
Don't
now he
spoil
doesn't want things spoiled for him. Now he's like, I want to go in fresh.
Time out. Don't
You're
spoil
always
it.
like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I already looked up the ending to the game. Now you're like, nah, I want to see what it is. I would never do that to you. I would never do that to you.
I could tell you how Returnal ends. I already know the story. But
All right. Well,
don't
see,
spoil,
I don't know why.
Don't spoil. Don't spoil that to
I would never. I would never. But. And I don't know if the turn is going to be as surprising this time around. I think it still would. I was very surprised at the time. My jaw was on the floor. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Okay.
It was wild, and that's all I'll say. I'll leave it at that.
Now you make me want to dust off the original Xbox and play it. Now.
I mean, you could, man. You could.
So I don't have to wait. I don't have to wait 3 years for the next, for this to come out. And again, they started the showcase started off strong. We got Knights of the Old Republic remake. Then we got Project Eve, which I personally think is still a working title. I don't know if this is going to be the final title of this game, right?
Yeah,
Project Eve, like a lot of games that have project in them never end up being called Project, right?
True.
So this is made by Shift Up Corporation. Apparently we've seen this game like 2 years prior, right? It was at E3 2 years ago. It was more so shown in a smaller scale, but now they really bigged it up because it sort of started. It helped start the showcase. I thought when we saw this originally, because they didn't have the name up or who was making it, I thought this was like an expansion to Final Fantasy VII.
Oh,
it gave me Final Fantasy VII remake vibes, right? Just the world, the crazy world, and then as a female protagonist, and she's badass, kicking ass, and still kind of in a sexy vibe. So it's like Bayonetta in Final Fantasy VII.
Oh yeah. I love that the first scene was like a shot of the butt, right? It was just her butt, and I'm like, okay, this is what this game is.
You could be sexy and badass at the same time.
Female empowerment, sure, 100%. But yeah, man, I'm kind of looking forward. I'm kind of looking.
It's
forward.
very Japanese. I'm looking forward to this. I was super hyped. And then we sort of took a turn where I kind of was like, I don't know if I'm really into this. It was Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, right? I know for you Borderlands people, this is a game for you, right? This is just this is more giving you more of this DLC that came out for Borderlands 2 or 3.
Yeah,
2,
Borderlands.
right? Yeah.
Borderlands 2 had it. Yeah, and
it's more of fantasy. Borderlands in the fantasy world.
Well, the conceit is Tiny Tina is running a D&D campaign, so she's the dungeon master, and then you go into the game world playing as the fantasy archetypes, right? So the wizard, the fighter, the thief, the whatever, but you're also running around with guns. So
yeah,
and they mentioned that in the trailer. It was like, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. It's a fantasy game with lots of guns.
Yeah. So we saw this. I think 2019.
No, I think we first saw it last year. Oh, this year in E3. We saw it at Gearbox's E3 event. That was like their big game, and then we saw it. No, we first saw it at Jeff Keighley's E3 sort of showcase, and then we saw it at Borderlands E3 showcase.
Yeah, there was something at you know what it was? 2020 at PAX East. There was the card game that they had.
Yes.
Right, that was the thing. Yeah, and then like Keighley broke the new Tiny Tina thing.
Yeah,
so that's awesome.
Remember during E3 we said, why even have it at Jeff Keighley's thing if you're gonna have your own? And this is like the big game that you're working on. Then why even have it at Jeff Keighley's thing? You should just save it for your own E3 showcase.
That's right. Their Gearbox presentation was woof.
Was terrible.
There was nothing there,
which was a little awkward because he's just like, I don't play games. I don't know what Borderlands is, but I'm gonna be hot in the movie.
Yep.
Like why?
Yeah. Yeah. That was the biggest thing. The behind the scenes look at the Borderlands movie.
So. Then we got more of a cinematic trailer behind, like I'm super into the story now of Forspoken, right? Like now, I mean, I told you I just popped in Life is Strange Colors, which is published by Square, and that Square has sort of like, I would call like a double A game, and it doesn't feel like a triple A game for Spoken. And we got a little bit about what Forspoken was supposed to be about last year, all right? So now we got a little bit more. We got a little bit more backstory. She's from New York, is a female protagonist, and she's from New York. She wants sort of an adventure and somehow gets sucked into this world. And she has like the rings on her arms that are talking to her, and this is giving her power in this new world. So I'm kind of really into this, right?
Yeah.
What was Gary Whitta is a writer on this game.
Sure.
too.
Former, I think, executive of PC Gamer magazine from back in the day.
Former executive of PC Gamer magazine. He has writing credits on Star Wars. What was the prequel to? It wasn't a numbered Star Wars.
Rogue One.
Rogue One. Yes, he has credits for writing. On Rogue One.
He's very good.
He is a contributor to Kind of Funny Games. He's actually on their Xbox podcast because he's more so of an Xbox fan. So he has credits for Spoken, right? And the writing. He helped build the world out. He didn't build the actual story of the main protagonist, but he helped do world building in the game. So I'm looking forward. Actually, this trailer got me more hyped for Forspoken than any other trailer that we've seen already.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. I mean,
she's from New York. I gotta support her.
Of course.
We're New Yorkers. I gotta support her.
She was real amped to be in the game world. A little fourth wall breaking. Like what the hell? Where am I right now? I can fly. I have these special powers. Like, yeah. It was pretty.
You know what it felt like? To be honest, it felt like Infamous in a fantasy world. I know.
Okay. Yeah.
Obviously, Infamous is a fantasy world because it's a video game.
Right.
But it was the set piece was a city. So it felt like she was, like sort of Infamous set in like a desert, like a desolate, post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, it looked beautiful. It's a nice conceit. Right.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how it plays out. No release date yet, right? I don't think
no
they
release
said.
date.
Yeah.
No, that's a theme throughout this. That's the one negative I have on this, as far as all the games that are being shown, right? Because we don't know. We don't have a window for Knights of the Old Republic. We don't have a window for Project Eve. Project Eve is probably still like a 2023 game, I would believe, right? Like it's not coming out next year because they would have gave it a 2022 window release if that was the case.
Right.
So. For Spoken in that same boat, I think that's a 2023 game, right? When PlayStation 5s are readily available,
right?
Probably going to be at the end of next year. That's when these games will be available, right? In the beginning of the year after. So
yeah, so you're not missing much right now if you don't have a console because you can't.
Well, you're missing Returnal, Ratchet and Clank, and Returnal, Ratchet and Clank, and some other games that we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Then they talked about Rainbow Six Extraction. That's coming out January of 2022, right?
Yep.
That's Rainbow Six with monsters.
Yeah.
I'm sure Tom Clancy is sort of rolling over in his grave because
it's whatever.
He never wrote any. I don't. To my knowledge, all his books have nothing to do with monsters. It's all
but he writes like he writes like pop fiction about the. The government and secret agencies and these like Jack Bauer type guys. Yeah. So
we got that. This actually, the next game was actually leaked maybe 2 days prior, and they officially said it was coming. It was actually coming, which kind of ruined a little bit of the surprise from the showcase. I wish they wouldn't have said it and just stay out there.
The only thing that was actually leaked, right? To be fair.
Yeah. Alan Wake Remastered, right?
Yep.
It's coming out. It's coming out in like 4 weeks. It's coming out. It's October 5th, right? It's an October game. It's a remastered. I believe this is actually coming out on Xbox and the PS5. So if you haven't played the original Alan Wake, it's it's sort of like one of those first nerdy games where you get to play as in like a nerdy author.
Right. Doesn't he have like the flashlight that's like your main weapon?
He has a flashlight that's like it's not a weapon. It's mostly the flashlight keeps the monsters away, right? But
Okay.
you have a gun. You have guns.
Oh,
right?
you do?
To keep
Okay.
your bullets. Yeah, yeah. It's more of a survival. If it has a survival horror type vibe, right? And if your flashlight goes out, the monsters are coming out, and you have to find light to keep them away, right?
I see.
So, and it has like psycho vibes because it's like a hotel that's across the street from this diner. I played Alan Wake, I want to say a couple of years ago when we first started the show, and it was like a part of I don't not PS Plus because it's an Xbox game. A part of like Xbox
Live?
Gold.
Yeah, games with gold. Yeah.
Games with gold before I even had the before I had the physical, I believe. I could be wrong. You have to go back and listen to our show like 4 years ago.
All right.
I played it. You know, I don't like spooky games. I think I played like 3-4 hours and I was done. I was like, I got stuck somewhere. I didn't have any batteries for my flashlight, and I didn't want to go through, running through with a shotgun, in a desolate motel at night. I'm good. But I thought the mechanic was great, but I'm not playing this by myself. I'm good. No, not doing that. Yeah, I know I'm wearing a black shirt, but I'm not into the spooky game.
Not into the occult. No,
not
so
into
much.
that.
All right, fair enough.
So, will I pick this up? I don't know. This is probably a game I'm not going to pick up, and I say that now and get it the day after it comes out.
Oh, Dan, there's a mental bet in my head. There's a mental Shake Shack bet in my head, and I always win because you always say, "I don't know if I'm going to get you." You're going to get it. You're going to get it.
Okay, I'm not paying $70 for this game.
I'll
put it that way.
I'm aware.
Game.
But you're
I'll
still
pay
going to
30.
get it.
I'll pay 30.
Yeah. You may even get it for 40 or 50. I don't know because you'll go, oh, $20 deal, and I get it. I do the same thing. I'm gonna get it because it's on sale.
Well, all right. Well, a game I'm. You know what? You don't have to make a Shake Shack bet. I'll make a Shake Shack bet. I am not buying this game because I already own this game. All right, and that's GTA 5. Yes.
Now, how many copies do you own? Do you own the PlayStation 3?
I own
PS4,
the PlayStation.
The Xbox 360,
I own the PlayStation
PC
3
version?
I own the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox One versions of GTA 5. And yes, a game that came out on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 originally is now getting a release.
2013. Yep.
PS5.
Yep.
And I'm sure Xbox Series X coming out in March 2022. Yeah. I'm not buying this. I already own this game.
No, why would anybody buy this?
Content. It's just upgrades.
Right. It's for all the new kids out there who want. I mean, I don't even think the upgrades are going to be that substantial anyway. Maybe it's a resolution bump, and maybe there's some better anti-aliasing, maybe some better lighting effects. I don't think it's going to be much. The bump from the 360 to the Xbox One, or the PS3 to the PS4, was, I think, pretty substantial. And that's the one that I played. I played the Xbox One version of it.
But that made sense, right?
Right, because it was the end of that generation. Yeah.
That came out in 2013 for the end and the start. The end of the generation beforehand, and then the start of last generation, right? So it made sense to, hey, we're going to release a PS4 and Xbox One version. Put out GTA 6 already. Like, this is ridiculous. They're still making money hand over fist for GTA 5, and that's why we're getting this.
Yeah. It's the money move.
Then we got Ghostwire Tokyo, an extended gameplay trailer. It looked awesome if you're into sort of survivor horror games. I'm not. It's a little weird to say that, this and then Deathloop. We got another Deathloop trailer that's coming out next week. As of this, when you're listening to us record this show on Tuesday, that game is coming out this week, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's supposed to be out last holiday.
Yeah. So game, this is Xbox Game Studios, right? This is an official Xbox first-party studio coming out. This is the last of it. Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop coming out on the PS5. They will be timed exclusives by all accounts, right? So Ghostwire Tokyo looks good. It is essentially, again, like survival horror in Tokyo. Not really my thing. I'll buy it when it's out on discount. But it's good to know that it's Microsoft isn't just like phoning it in and saying you could just release it, screw it, right? And then, when the bugs are fixed, we put it out on the Xbox.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to do a Cyberpunk situation, no.
Yeah, this has been delayed until 2022.
Yeah, so I almost thought this was that Capcom game that we saw at E3 where there was the girl in the spacesuit and she was in New York City.
Yes, I remember that.
Game.
Yes.
It's not that game, though, and I'm curious what's going on with that game and where that's at, because that looks super cool. So this is not that. This is different, but they both look awesome. Both games are, kind of high on my list.
Then we got Guardians of the Galaxy trailer, right? That's coming out October 26th. I don't want to see this trailer. If there's the rumored Nintendo Direct that's coming out, I don't want to see this trailer again. We know it's going to be streamed on the Switch, but I am definitely buying this game. Because I like Guardians of the Galaxy. I knew who they were before the movie, right? Because I was a big comic book and trading card nerd back in the early 90s when when I was a kid. So I knew who they were. I'm big on this. I love this. I want to play this, right? So I'm probably going to get this on the PlayStation or maybe the Xbox. I don't really care. I'm not going to stream it on the Switch. So
I mean, you could though.
Yeah,
your internet connection's good.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that, but I'm looking forward to buying. I'm looking forward to this game. I know people are disappointed because it doesn't have the one-to-one characters from the movies, right?
No,
this is
I mean they can't
from the movies.
They can't. Yeah, they
want to. Can, but it would cost too much money.
Oh, the licensing would be high. Yeah. Then you'd have to get them to voice act again, and that's a whole thing. And you can't have the likeness without the voice. Yeah,
I'm sure they would, but they want to do the Spider-Man, the sort of Spider-Man route and do like an original story by them, like something that they could do by themselves.
Right.
Honestly, I think this is a game that would have benefited coming out after the third movie, right? That they're working on. It's probably going to come out in another year or two. Where you get a little bit of separation where we don't, especially like Dave Bautista said, like he wants to do the third movie and that's it. He's not going to reprise, the role of Drax anymore. And that probably would be the end of the Guardians of the Galaxy by all accounts. But I'm really looking forward to this game. I kind of want to play it. I really do want to play it. I think I'm probably the only one, but I really want to play it.
I don't know. Like I think the writing is kind of solid. Peter Quill certainly has the quips. He definitely embodies the character in the game. Definitely embodies who the comic book character is and who he is in the movies, right? So it all kind of comes together. Even though it's
I wonder if they have the licensing for the music though, right? Because like Guardians of the Galaxy always has like old school music. I wonder if they have the licensing for that.
Well, they did reference the ship, the Milano, right? Named after Alyssa Milano, right? The 80s actress who everybody loved, right? And he grew up
who's
in
the boss?
80s.
Oh yeah, man, she was my big crush too. Yeah,
that's exactly right. So they have those nods in there. I would have to think that they get some 70s, 80s appropriate music in there. Some stuff that's kind of easy to license, doesn't cost a lot of money, and kind of throw it in the game because that would go a long way. Yeah.
That would. It has to. Right. It has to.
Right.
So, then we got Blood Hunt. Right. I mean, Vampire Blood Hunt. Right? We got a little trailer for that. I'm not really hyped for this game. I think this is the second game in a series. Right. I think the original was like a PC game. If I'm not mistaken. We saw this at E3. Wasn't too keen on it then, not too keen on it now, but we know it's coming out for Xbox and PlayStation as long as PC. Then we got sort of an extended trailer for Chia, which I thought was cute, more of like a kids style game, right? It had in the animations, right?
Kind of the bright cell shaded visuals to it, yeah. But I mean, it was nice to see a. It was nice to see an African-American protagonist. It was nice to see a woman protagonist. It was nice to see new visuals that weren't in the vein of Ghostwire Tokyo and Forspoken and Project Eve and all the other games, because it's kind of hard to get, to differentiate. Oh, is this game that had this character? And because they're also like similar looking and they have similar like gameplay mechanics and whatever else. This was kind of like, this was the game that stood out, right? Because it just looked that different. So
yeah, and they put it in the right spot to give it its shine. Because after this, the heavy hitters came out. This was all about, after this, it was all about PlayStation Studios.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We got, they announced Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy. It's coming out on PS5 and PC. Right? This is the first time Uncharted would be out on PC. They do have some weird upgrades, right? From PS4 to PS5. I mean, you can play Uncharted 4 on the PS5 already, but I'm sure this is sort of having the box that says Uncharted 4, or with Uncharted Legacy with the PS5 logo. By the way, I know you have a PS5. If you go into PS Plus and there's a tab that says PS4 Collection.
Right.
I don't know if it's still available for you.
Okay.
But I checked it today. It's still there for me, so I'm going to assume it's still there for you. Go in and redeem every game there, even if you already own it.
Just so they're in the account. Yeah.
Just so they're in the account. You have games like The Lost Guardian, Uncharted 4, Battlefield 1,
Sure.
right, is there, right?
Sure.
Off the top of my head, I can't even think of all these. It's a lot of PlayStation games. You probably have half of them, not all of them, already physical.
Right.
I don't know if you have, it's not all just PlayStation games though.
Yeah,
okay. Obviously multi, platform games, but go in while you still can to redeem them, to have them in your library that you can always just download it and play.
Okay.
So I would say do that while you still can, because they said that they're going to cancel them soon. So I thought they were already canceled, but I still see the tab in PlayStation Plus.
Right. Okay.
Then we got a actual release date, an extended trailer for Gran Turismo 7. It's coming out March 4th, 2022.
Yep. I was surprised. I wasn't surprised to see footage. I was surprised about the release date, because they mentioned it last year, I believe, 2020, right?
Yeah.
And they said it was, PS5 exclusive, and then they eventually said, well, it's also going to be on the PS4 and all that. So I was like, well, that's certainly going to push the timeline out a little bit. Very happy to see this coming out. It does look beautiful, right? We got a little bit more extended gameplay, and, we saw like a montage of you being able to customize your car, which was really cool. And, we saw some shots on the track that were kind of like angled pretty nicely. So, yeah. I mean, like, we kind of called it. We said, hey, we're probably going to see some Gran Turismo footage. I think that may happen, and they delivered,
Yeah, not just that, but the release date. And then, and then every game after this was mic drop after mic drop after mic drop, right? We got an announcement in the cinematic trailer for Spider-Man 2.
Oh, that's the Green Lantern right there. It's the Green Lantern video game.
No, this is the Spider-Man mug. I said earlier in the show, we got Spider-Man 2 with Miles Morales, Peter Parker, and Miles Morales.
Yep.
So I wonder if you could do. I wonder if you could do couch co-op and play as both Spider-Mans.
Oh my god!
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I would say online co-op probably an easier bet.
Yeah,
but couch co-op would be amazing.
So the voice, sort of Craven, right? Craven, where he's like he's looking for the best, right? He's looking for someone who's going to be, a challenge to him. And then at the end, they had Venom.
Yep.
Oh my God, they had Venom.
Yeah, man.
So Venom is voiced by Tony Todd, the original Candyman. If you're watching the Candyman movies, the movie that just came out, the remake. So he has like a unique, deep voice, which totally fits Venom. And he actually went on record and said, from his knowledge, Spider-Man 2 is massive. It's going to be a massive game.
Sure.
So I hope we get a chance to get outside of Manhattan and go into the other boroughs, at least Brooklyn, well, Queens at least, right?
Right.
Peter Parker
is
from Queens. So that would be awesome.
So
Spider-Man 2 release window 2023. So
sure.
It's not a game
it's a ways off.
Soon.
Yeah. Considering they just put Miles Morales out, at the launch of the PS5, right? As like, here's this cross-gen game. Right, it's based on the previous engine and all that. Boom. But it was a brand new game, and it had a bunch of new stuff in there. Continue the story and all that. Super cool. So not surprised about the 2023 release window. What I'm curious about is typically when you hear about Venom and you hear about Spider-Man, you also hear about the Red Menace, Carnage. Do you think he's going to make an appearance in the game?
No.
Really?
I don't think Carnage is going to be in the game. I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Right? Because Venom started as a villain and became more of an anti-hero eventually, right?
Right.
And I could see where I don't think Craven isn't a main villain.
Yeah.
Right? I can't. And I mean, maybe Insomniac could make him a main villain in this sense, but he's not a main villain. I'm sorry. He's just not.
He's a B-tier villain, yeah.
He's a level 2 villain. He's not like a main villain. And again, Venom is an anti-villain, so I could see Venom being the villain at the start of the game, where Carnage may be the villain, like maybe the main,
the late game villain, right? The big twist, and they have to team up, right? Unlikely friendship happens, right? Maybe halfway through.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool.
Where maybe you could play as Peter Parker Spider-Man, Miles Morales Spider-Man, and then Venom right after you beat him, right? To take on Carnage, since the movie's coming out next year.
Right.
I mean, but that could. I just don't want it to be where it's too convoluted, where it's like too many characters, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe Carnage could be.
I mean, it's in good hands, right? You know, it's Insomniac again, right? So
yeah,
you know, they're gonna definitely do it right, whichever direction they take this in.
So Insomniac didn't just show this, but they had a trailer for a game, and we're like, what the hell is this? And it turns out to be a Wolverine game. So they have a partnership with Marvel where they're putting out a Wolverine game. Now, there are a lot of Easter eggs in the trailer, right? The Register, I found out, I was listening to Podcast Beyond. I forgot the actual price, but it had like 1970 something, like 1970 something cents, which was the year that Wolverine was first put out.
Oh, interesting. See,
and it was something about, it was a license plate up on the by the Register that was an Easter egg as well. And I want to say, Wolverine, it looked like, you know, they didn't show his face, but you know, his arms and his hand looked all bloodied, and he looked a little bit, you know, it could have been beat up. It could be Old Man Logan Wolverine.
That would be awesome, right? Because you always see him in like top form, right? Wearing the spandex outfit and just kicking ass, which is great. Don't get me wrong, but we've done that before, right? I'd like an Old Man Logan smoking
this could be Old Man
cigars
Logan where he's not invincible, right? Where you have a little bit of, you know, a little bit down to earth, where, you know, you're not going to just heal off of anything. So this could be an interesting game, and they said it's. I think it would be more linear, right? I don't think it's going to be an open world game. I think it'd be a little bit more. I don't think it'd be open world game like Spider-Man. I think it'd be a little bit more linear, which I'm not mad at, and I'm okay with, right? Because Spider-Man, you can do an open world game because of the web shooting. Where
you kind of need to, I think, right? If you
can
constrain
go around
him,
New York,
he needs a big playground to swing in, for sure.
Where Wolverine, you know, it's hard. You know, he's just a person where he's walking and running. Right? There's no spaceships or anything. So having an open world doesn't make sense, right? It makes sense.
How do you get around quickly? Linear. It's like, well, you gonna make him drive in a car? No.
I don't
think I've ever seen Wolverine in a car driving. I mean, I'm sure in the comics maybe, but you really don't.
He's been in the X-Men jet, right?
I mean, sure, yeah. But he's never like sitting in a taxi cab, right? Or driving a Toyota Celica. No, it's not Wolverine.
I know, but in the comics, they've dropped a nuclear bomb where it's just Wolverine at his skeleton and he heals.
Right.
So I can see this being Old Man Logan, where he has a little bit of like vulnerability, which makes sense.
Sure.
For a video game, right?
Sure.
So, and then they end the show, but what I told you they would. I told you they would have some gameplay.
I never doubted, man. I was 100% on board.
God of War Ragnarok.
Yep.
That is the actual name. This game is real. It's coming out. No release window. No nothing. Just like Wolverine, I think Wolverine's a 2024 game, to be honest, right? I think this is a game that's coming out after Spider-Man. It's Insomniac's game after Spider-Man 2.
I don't think it's going to be that late, and I think it's going to be a cross-generational game.
What, God of War or Wolverine?
God of War. Wolverine,
okay,
no.
God of War. God of War is definitely a cross-generational game. Yeah. It's coming out. I believe it will be next year's holiday game.
Sure. Yeah.
But Atreus, he's older, right? He looks like he's more of a teenager. He's talking back to Kratos, right? So he has confidence in himself. He's Kratos' son, and he has confidence. He's talking back. You have everything. You have the head, Mjolnir, right?
Mimir.
Mimir, right? You have...
you got the Blades of Chaos and the axe.
Blades of Chaos, and you have the axe, and it looks like you have chains. You can do a different type of, you can have the enemy up in the sky and bring them down with the chains. I will be curious with this, though. They did have a Marvel logo at the start of this, according to Podcast Beyond.
At God of War?
On God of War. So will they have a tie-in with Thor?
What?
Yeah.
Really?
I was listening to Podcast Beyond, and they said that there was a Marvel logo somewhere in the credits. So will they have a Thor? Will it be Thor that we know of?
Is this how they bridge all of their licenses together? Is Thor the way that they get Kratos into the game MCU?
You never
the MGU, the Marvel game universe.
Spider-Man. Thor and Spider-Man.
Well, I mean, I was kind of thinking that a little bit with Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Because Guardians of the Galaxy, right? That's a known Marvel property. Sony's got Spider-Man. They're doing the Wolverine thing now, so there's the X-Men tie-in. Do they do another Avengers style game where Kratos comes in, right? He's a playable character.
Can Sony do their own MCU style in the video game world?
The MGU or the SGU, the Sony game universe, the Sony Marvel game universe.
That would be awesome. That would be mind blowing, right? That would be mind blowing,
right? There's potentially ways to do it with the games that they announced and with some of the stuff we just talked about. Yeah.
I would be excited for that, and that would be so. Yeah, that would be unbelievable. That would be mic drop moment, something that Nintendo and Microsoft couldn't even touch.
No,
right?
No.
So, wow, I'm looking forward to God of War. I'm
man.
Getting on a PS5. Since I'm a PS5. I'm looking forward to Wolverine, but that's definitely Wolverine. They did mention that Spider-Man 2 is a PS5 only game, not a cross-gen game, because it's coming out in 2023. Right. So they're not gonna try to make it for PS4.
No, not coming out that late. You would assume by that time, PS5s will be in good quantity, and you can just go to the store and pick one up if you want one.
Yeah. Also, right before the Sony showcase, they announced that they acquired their 14th studio, which was Firespite, right? This was the studio that made the Persistence game,
right?
And Persistence actually, did come out on, I believe it came out on Switch, and it was PSVR as well. This makes sense because Sony is going all in on PSVR 2, right? They're all going on PSVR. So I believe that they have other games in the works for PSVR, and this would be a first-party studio to make it like PSVR games.
Well, fun note.
It makes sense.
Fun note, the people of Firespite Studio used to be Studio Liverpool employees who then... Studio Liverpool was a part of Sony, and they were the studio that would make all of the Wipeout games. And they
I didn't know that.
They made the Wipeout Omega Collection, which has a PSVR update to it. So there you go.
Wow, I didn't know that.
It all now comes full circle. So we're now back in the fold circle. Yeah. That's awesome. That's a solid acquisition. And I think you're right. I think they are going to position them to be kind of a VR studio in a way, or at least make VR components for whatever their upcoming games. Gives me hope for a new Wipeout game.
You really just sold on this new Wipeout game.
Well, and yes, I am. But Wipeout is just like Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear's got a certain aesthetic to it, right? They have these beautiful hand-drawn visuals, which are now 3D, but they meant to look like 2D. And they have an amazing game soundtrack, which is all like this kind of 80s, like hardcore metal, right? And that's kind of their thing, right? Wipeout is this kind of like neo-futuristic racing league, which has like this awesome like Euro techno 808 beat soundtrack. Like it's just got ever since the first game, like they've always had the same aesthetic and they've always built on that. And it's like it's like they just do a really good job with it, which is why I'm so hyped for it. All right. That's why I keep saying it's got to come out. It's
well,
I don't know.
Now they can make it for VR. I know you love it for VR.
If they make a new Wipeout, whatever it is, Wipeout 2152 or whatever the next one is, because they always keep going up in the years, right? It was 2048,
Wipeout 3000,
2084, 3000, Wipeout year 3000. There you go.
So
there you go.
All right, that's it for the news.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, any good weekend plans?
Yes, indeed, Dan. Yes, indeed. It is my favorite time of year. One, Sam Adams Oktoberfest. Love these beers. A nice little spice in there. It's got a little kick, right? Fall is here. It's hoodie season, right? Halloween's right around the corner. And football, baby. Football. Kicking off.
Football's ready. I
am most likely going to the game tomorrow, the Giants home opener. Very excited for that. My family has season tickets. I don't really talk about that too much, but we've had season tickets forever. My dad's had season tickets back from when they used to play at like Yankee Stadium, before they moved to Jersey and played in the Meadowlands. My dad's had tickets from like way back when.
You're dating your dad. How old he is?
I mean, yeah, he's an old dude. He's had tickets forever. He's a hardcore Giants fan. My family's all hardcore Giants fans. So thus, I am also a Giants fan. Love the team. Love going to the live games. So probably going to be there on Sunday. If you're watching the game, look for me in the stands. You'll see me drunk and cheering. It's going to be a good time. So, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. How about you?
I'll be watching from TV.
From the comfort of your own home, right? Yeah.
Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Okay, here you go. Side by side, right? The Giants on one screen and your Mass Effect dude on the other screen. There you go. There you go.
John Shepard.
There you go. Good name. So that's episode 288 in the books, folks. We want to thank you guys for listening to the show and liking, commenting, doing all the good stuff that you guys do. If you want to interact with us, and we know that you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. Also, we are part of the Gaming Podcast Alliance. You can check out all of the fine podcasts featured on there at gamingpodcastalliance.com if you're looking for more gaming goodness. So, please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.